I think we're going to look back, probably like 10 years from now, you look back and like at a certain period in music, there's like a twangy, kind of a specific sound, like everything sounds the same for a short while. Like right now, everything sounds like Mumford & Sons. I think we're probably going to look back at movies in the last like about 3 years and say like, why were there so many people who thought that Grimm's fairy tales would make good action films? Because there's the Snow White one earlier this or last year, and there's this, and then we got Jack and the giant killer thing coming. This is clearly not the best of this. It is, I will say this, Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters is probably slightly better than the Brothers Grimm. Here's what's really wrong, I think. First of all, this is a great example, and this happens periodically, great example of a movie that does not know what movie it is. It doesn't know if it's a comedy. It's co-produced by a crazy mishmash of different types of producers. As soon as I saw the logo come up for Will Ferrell's company, I was like, what movie is this? Because I think some of the people working on this thought it was hilarious, and some of them thought it was high-stakes action horror. There's a great performance, probably the best performance I'll see this year, by Peter Stormare's mustache. Great mustache. And there's a score that is, at least for the first half of it, I thought, is this just the Danny Elfman score from Beetlejuice? And none of the jokes are as funny as they need to be. None of the horror stuff is as scary as it needs to be. I think like structurally the big problem is, if you're gonna start with Hansel and Gretel, which is a pretty good story, and really the reason it's a popular story is, all right, the reason it's a popular story is because it really plays on a lot of really, really primal fears about your parents abandoning you. So it tells that story pre-credits, but it compresses that story so tight that you don't really get any sense of being scared. Like the second that it gets anywhere near frightening, it actually goes more towards campy. And then it just truncates and cuts off. And the whole movie is like that. Like every time they kind of go down an avenue, they just go, maybe not all the way, and then they pull back to sort of the middle. And that's always a problem with a movie like this. You gotta commit to what you're doing. Okay, if you're gonna watch something instead, here's what I think. I've been thinking about this. Look, there's nothing wrong with taking the core of an older kind of fairy tale style story and turning it into something more action-y or science fiction-y or weird or whatever. But watch Zardoz. Zardoz is effed up crazy genius. The most hilariously crazy movie, and I won't tell you what it's based on, but when you find out in the film what it's based on, it will make sense. I just don't want to spoil any of the craziness of it. Other than to say that it's got a very hairy-backed Sean Connery wearing pretty much like the bathing suit from Borat through most of the film. It's just not green, but it's pretty much the same outfit. It's got a lot of naked 70s breasts going on. It's good. I'm highly recommending Zardoz. It doesn't hurt to take something that'll alter your mood a little before you watch it. I'm not telling you what that would be. I'm just saying it wouldn't hurt it. It doesn't hurt to do that with a large group of people that haven't seen it, because the awesomeness of how insanely it's put together is probably best appreciated with a group. But yeah, that's what I'd say to watch instead.